If it took you years to hold on, what on earth makes you think that you're gonna let go with a decision? You did really love that person. You did really value that friendship. You did really want to be part of something. So your struggle to let go is only an indication of how deeply you as a person care and love and show your loyalty and your commitment. It shows how deeply you as a person are willing to invest in what you care about. Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Beyond Words with me, Najwa Zebian. I'm a firm believer in the power of words to heal what they had no business in healing and to break what they had no right in breaking. So today's episode is going to heal you in ways that probably you never felt were possible before. And the reason I'm saying that is every single time I've created anything on this topic, I've always gotten that feedback. So without further delay, the topic is how to actually let go. Letting go is one of the most requested topics I get. And I get it because it's really hard to let go. We hear all these messages about letting people be who they want to be and letting them make the decisions they want to make and letting them walk away from our life and letting things fall into whatever place they need to fall. You know, if you lose that job, that's okay. If that career doesn't work out, that's okay. If that friendship doesn't work out, that's okay. But how do you actually make peace with what no longer exists in your life, with what's no longer your reality? And how do you actually extract from within the bond that you have to that person or to that thing, to that friend, to that job, to that dream? Like, how do you just cut that bond and say, I'm actually okay with this not being in my life? How many times in your life have you met somebody who had to let go of something or someone years ago, but they're still talking about it? How many times have you felt like you really should have been over something by now, but you're not? It's just the truth. You fall asleep thinking about it and you wake up thinking about it. And every time you feel sad, you remember it. And every time you feel bad for yourself, you're reminded of that thing or person that had to leave from your life. It's like you mentally know that the best thing for you is to just let it go and let them go. But your heart and your soul are still holding on. So how do you actually cut that bond? I'm going to start in a very unconventional way. When it comes to letting go, I'm going to talk to you about the power of the complete opposite. Your ability to hold on shows how much beauty you have within. It shows how much commitment you are capable of. It shows your loyalty. It shows that you care. It shows that people and things are not just dispensable to you. They're not just easy to bring into your life and let them go and let them walk away. It shows that you actually believe in the power of having a bond with someone or with something. It shows that you believe that when you have a dream, that it's actually possible. Regardless of how many people said to you, that dream is too big for you, that goal is way out of your reach, your ability to hold on and to try as hard as you tried shows a side of you that is so rare and unique. People these days think of what they can get out of something or what they can get out of people. And if they don't get it, it's easy for them to let go. Why? Because their intention initially was, what can I gain for myself out of holding on to this thing or to this person? You're not like that. You're holding on because you actually see beauty in the person. You actually see something that's worth holding on to. You actually see value in them. You see worth in them. You see their unmet potential that you really would love to be part of, empowering them and making them feel like the sky's the limit. Your ability to hold on to your dreams and goals and your purpose in life shows that you're not just in it for the title or for the status or for what it's going to mean about you to be able to achieve that. You're in it because there's something that you actually love about what you're doing and about what you're going for. Your ability to hold on shows a side of you that deserves to be celebrated. Your ability to hold on shows not your weakness, but your power. Holding on has power. Just like letting go has power, so does holding on. But when we talk about letting go, we only focus on the difficulty in letting go. And sometimes people make us feel like we're stupid for not being able to let go. Like, how could that thing still hurt you? It's been over for a long time. Or how could you still be dwelling on that dream that you had that didn't work out? It's been so many years and you're pursuing another dream right now. Why do you still talk about that? Why do you still go really hard on yourself for not being able to achieve that one thing that you wanted to achieve? That friendship ended so many years ago, or they hurt you in such a way that you should be able to move on. You hear those messages, but you're still sitting there with the pain of having mentally made peace with the fact that you should let go of something or someone. But you know deep in your soul, there's still something holding on from within you. The answer to letting go isn't to give yourself tough love and say, I don't care about the reason why it's so hard for me to let go. I'm just gonna tell myself that I absolutely have to let go, and that's it. I'm putting it behind me. I'm never thinking about it again. I'm never feeling it again. That's it. It's over. Life doesn't work that way, and healing doesn't work that way. And I've always given this analogy. When you shut your pain out, it's going to stand at your door and keep knocking louder and louder and louder until you let it in and have a conversation with it. Have tea with it, if you will. Have coffee with it. Listen to it. Go back and forth with it. Understand why it's persisting. Why is it saying to you, you can't move forward with your life unless you listen to me? What is it trying to tell you? What is it trying to change about your process of holding on? It's trying to teach you something. It's trying to tell you, hey, maybe the next time we hold on to something or someone, we need some boundaries. Maybe we need to take some more time before we decide to hold on. Maybe your pain is trying to say, we rushed too much last time to hold on to this person or to this prospect or to this friendship or to this group of people, to this community, to this whatever. Maybe we take it a little bit slower. You've heard these words before. I've said them in a past episode. The fastest way to get somewhere is slowly. And there's a quote that I also included in The Only Constant. And this is the perfect opportunity for us to do words from me to you when change doesn't go as expected chapter, where I say, I will go as fast as the slowest part of me feels safe. These are words from a song called Gentle with Myself by Karen Drucker. My therapist was the one who recommended these words to me to remind me to give my body the time to actually move through things, to not pressure myself to unfeel something that I'm feeling, to not pressure myself to say, oh, that doesn't get to me when it actually gets to me. Sometimes it helps to, when you feel like you're stuck in something, it helps to have something that redirects you and snaps you out of it. So if you are the type of person who, when you completely shut down, you feel like you're glued to wherever you're sitting, whether it's in your bed or on a couch or on a chair, you kind of freeze and there's nothing that you feel you can do. You have no energy. You don't even want to think straight. You just want to scroll through your phone or watch something, or you just want to completely distract yourself. And at the same time that you're doing this distracting thing, you're judging yourself in a way for not being able to handle your reality. But the reality is way too heavy for you that you would rather distract yourself than have to deal with it. It helps when you fall into that to have some kind of a coping strategy to snap yourself out of it and tell yourself, I'm going to count to 3. And when I say 3, I get up and I go to the kitchen and I drink water, or I get up and I go for a power walk and I just get myself out of it. Those things help, but they're not the full answer. It helps to be able to get yourself out of the survival existence that you've adapted to say, I'm going to do something else, to show myself and my body that there's a different answer. There's something else I could be doing right now other than just numbing myself and not feeling anything at all. And then once you get up, there's an invitation for you to even ask yourself to spend a minute or 2 minutes or 3 minutes trying to understand what is it that got you to develop that survival mechanism in the first place. What are the times and the instances and the triggers that get you to just completely numb yourself and say, I don't want to deal with my environment. I just want anything that will help me forget, or anything that will help me not feel or not think right now. That's why so many people struggle with alcohol and with drugs and I'm not saying it in a judgmental way. I'm saying it in a compassionate way. No one ever chooses something that's not good for them because they know it's not good for them and they're saying, I want to do something that's not good for me. Even your worst addictions serve a positive purpose for you. And I know you say, well, it's not really positive, but it's from the perspective of the person who's struggling with the addiction of any sort. Even somebody who's addicted to working out in a very unhealthy way. Some people work out 6 hours a day, every single day. To them, it's serving something. It's silencing something. It's covering up a fear that they have. It's stopping them from having any kind of time where they get to actually deal with the reality of their lives that they don't want to deal with. And it's not that they don't want to deal with it out of being cowards. They don't want to deal with it out of it being way too heavy to carry. So maybe the answer isn't to force yourself to carry a weight that is 10 times heavier than you just so that you could prove that you can actually feel it and get through it. Maybe the answer is to carry a little bit of that weight that you are actually able to carry. When we say things like, I will move as fast as the slowest part of me feels safe, It's not about saying go slow and go gentle in a way that's like you're spoon feeding yourself. No, it's to say you don't give yourself more than you can handle. We have a verse in the Quran. I don't normally bring religion into this, but I think this will help. So I'm sure with whatever religion you follow, you have verses like that, but this just came to me. When I was younger, I would hear it all the time. And it says, God doesn't give a soul more than it can bear, or God doesn't burden a soul more than it can bear. And I remember thinking to myself, but you've burdened me more than I can carry. You've given me way heavier struggles and burdens that I can carry. And I remember I was having a conversation once with a friend of mine, and she said, that's not what it means. What it means is you get burdens and you get struggles, and you're not meant to just deal with them as a one-time thing and they're over. You make this drastic decision, this drastic change. It means that whatever it is that's given to you is something that can be overcome. And the answer is to remember that it might feel to you like it's not something that you can carry, but maybe if you carry it bit by bit, the way that you feel most comfortable and most safe, then you can get to the other side. It's kind of like the words that I always repeat, these mountains that you are carrying, you were only supposed to climb. When you have a burden in your life, it feels like this heavy mountain that's crushing you. A mountain would literally crush you. But maybe what's meant for you to do with that mountain is not to carry it and move it out of the way. Maybe it's to learn that you climb it bit by bit. And just like with anything in your life that you're healing from, you're going to take a few steps and maybe it's going to get lonely. Maybe you're going to get hungry. Maybe you're going to get tired and you're going to say, I'm going to go all the way back down. That's what relapse looks like. When you try to let go of something, when you try to get rid of an addiction, when you try to move on from something, when you try to build a habit, break a habit, you do a little bit and then you get tired of it and you're like, I'm going to snap back to the way I was before. It's not out of weakness. It's out of you feeling like you can't physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. You can't do more on your own. But that doesn't show that you're weak. It shows that you're resilient. Because you'll go back down and then you'll try again. And you go back down and you try again. It's not the number of times that you relapse and then try again that shows, how weak you are and you don't have purpose and you don't have determination. And no. That's your body signaling to you that you have given it more than it can handle. You've pushed it way too hard without having the right resources around you. So sometimes when you go really fast for, I'm just going to let go. I'm just going to tell myself I wake up tomorrow morning and I'm not holding on to that person anymore. I'm not holding on to those memories anymore. I'm going to be a completely different person. You took a few steps up that mountain and then you got to a place where you were like, okay, but I'm itching to think about them again. I'm itching to try to make sense of what happened again. So you go back down to the place where you were able to do that. You haven't given yourself the patience, the resources, the anticipation of what it is that's going to trigger you to go back. But when you say to yourself, you know what, I'm going to give myself a little bit of time to come up with some strategies that I know will help me let go. For example, I'm going to journal to understand why it is that I'm holding on so much. Like, what's stopping me from letting go? If I know logically it's the right thing, what is it that's stopping me? What's coming up for me from my younger years in my life? Why do I think that I need to hold on to somebody who was toxic to me in the past? Why do I think that I need that career path that has proven to me time and time again that I don't have the talent that it requires? Like, I've been steered away from it in very realistic ways that are telling me that's just not for you. Like, maybe you wanted to become an athlete of some sort and you tried and tried and tried, and you're just not physically as strong as you need to be to pursue that. But why is it that you're still fixated on it and you say, like, I wish I had one more chance? Journal. What did you attach that career path, that relationship, that friendship, belonging to that community? What did you tie it to within your self-worth, within your character, within your definition of what it means to be a good person, a successful person? Maybe another resource that you have is that you start spending time around people who actually see you for who you are. We talked about this before. You spend time with mirrors, not with walls. You spend time with people who reflect your true self, including your fears, your vulnerabilities, your sensitive nature, your empathy. They reflect all that back to you and they say, you're okay the way that you are. Maybe another resource that you have is a list of people that you call when you're in crisis. Who are the people that if you call them in the middle of the night, they will pick up and they will listen to you? And I know you're thinking, I don't have anyone. Well, maybe you start there. Maybe you start building a community for you of people who give you the same kind of response, presence, care, love that you willingly offer. It doesn't help to say, with a snap of a finger, I'm going to let go and I'm going to be a completely different person. Maybe it works for 0.0001% of the population. But let's be realistic. Letting go, if it took you years to hold on, and if you held on for years, what on earth makes you think that you're going to let go with a decision that your mind makes? And that's it. I said I'm letting go. That means I'm letting go. If you can so easily let go of someone or something or a dream or being part of something, you know what that means? It means that that person never meant anything to you. And that friendship never meant anything to you. And that career goal never meant anything to you. And that community never meant anything to you. But what's the truth? You did really love that person. You did really value that friendship. You did really want to have that career. You did really want to be part of something. So your struggle to let go is only an indication of how deeply you as a person care and love and show your loyalty and your commitment. It shows how deeply you as a person are willing to invest in what you care about. And that's beautiful. We need to stop judging ourselves for not being able to let go. It's not about not being able to let go. It's about understanding the how of letting go, the complexity of letting go. The answer isn't as simple as let's make a decision and just sit on it and force ourselves to do it. The answer is in understanding what's standing in the way between you and the thing or the person that you have a hard time letting go of. Imagine it's like a really thick rope that's holding you to that person or to whatever it is that you're holding on to. And the trying to understand the difficulty that you're experiencing and what it's bringing up for you. Every time you do that, it's kind of like you're using scissors to cut. They're not cutting the entire rope, but they're sure making it thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner until the very end. And what's holding you on to that person or to that thing is a really thin thread. And then you finally cut it. You know when people say you just wake up one day and you realize that you're really over it? It's not that you didn't do the work leading up to that day. It's because you did the work leading up to that day. You don't just wake up one day, like time heals all wounds. If you ignore it long enough, it'll go away. No, if you feel it long enough for little amounts that you are capable of. Like maybe you don't do an hour of therapy, maybe you do 5 minutes. And then the next day you do 6 minutes. And maybe the next day you can't handle even 30 seconds, and that's okay. You listen to what your body tells you is possible for you. You don't conquer a huge, massive fear by forcing yourself to just do it and show yourself that you can overcome it. You tackle it like by pushing the limit a little bit and then a little bit more and then a little bit more. And I'm assuming that if you're listening to this episode, that this is exactly what you need. You're not the type of person who's extremely black and white in your thinking. And it's just like, if this serves me, I go for it. If it doesn't serve me, I just completely cut it off. You're probably an empath. You're probably somebody who you're a recovering people pleaser, or maybe you're currently a people pleaser, and it's really hard for you to make the really big decisions. And it's really hard for you to just force someone out of you and force something that you really believed in out of you. And so the fastest way to do it is to take steps that are a little bit scarier than what you overcame the day before and the time before. And that way, over time, you learn that maybe you could only handle a fear that's this small. And you've accumulated all these fears that you've overcome. And all of a sudden, one day, you feel like, oh, wow, I've overcome all of this. But it's because you did it bit by bit. To go back to the mountain analogy, you decided not to carry that whole burden and move it out of the way. You decided to climb it bit by bit. And so when you get to the top of that mountain, you look down and you say, wow, like I came up all this way. Like I did all of that. Wow. And the next time another mountain comes your way, you can reflect on the one you just climbed and say, I climbed this one. That one's a little bit bigger, but at least I know I can climb this much. I've climbed steeper surfaces before. You start giving yourself evidence that you are able to do the things you never thought you could do. To bring this to a practical example, let's say you are trying to let go of someone that you really, truly loved. You were with them for years, decades, maybe even just a few months, but you fell in love with them in such a way that you can't understand how their love turned into indifference. How do you let go of someone that you're still in love with, but they're no longer there? The first answer I'm going to give you might give you goosebumps, but grieve. Grieve the thing you thought you had. Grieve the love you thought they had for you. Grieve your image of what future you thought you had with them. And grief doesn't always mean that you're sitting there and you're in sadness and you're in depression and I'm just, I'm not available for anything or anyone. Sometimes grief comes to us as denial. There are 5 stages of grief, and one of them is in denial. So even if you are in denial, or even if you are still in that stage where you're bargaining, you're going back and forth with them, trying to tell them like, hey, we can make this work, and they don't want to, but you still have that hope, that's still part of grief. And you need to stop being hard on yourself for grieving the way that you do. You need to stop being hard on yourself for making progress one day and feeling like, oh, I'm finally free of you. And then the next day you wake up and you're like, I miss them so much. That's a normal part of grief. If you miss someone, you're grieving them. If you still have love for someone that walked away, you're grieving them. If you wake up one day and you think back to the good times that you had with them, you're grieving them. And if you wake up one day and feel absolutely nothing towards them, you're grieving them. So grieve. Give yourself the chance to honor the parts of you that really care about people and that really love people and that really struggle with things changing. You're a human being. Honor those parts because they're trying to protect you from the pain of being abandoned, from the pain of not being good enough for somebody to stay. They're trying to protect you from the pain of what will my life look like when they're no longer there. They're trying to protect you from the pain of, you know what, I've always believed that people just walk away because I don't deserve anybody staying, and they're trying to protect you from the pain of just submitting into an ugly reality that says, I'm going to be alone. Nobody really loves me. Nobody will ever love me. So honor those parts of you and spend time with them. It's the only way that in the future, when they creep up to you and tell you, don't hold on again because last time we did that, look what happened to us. When those parts of you feel safe and trusted with you and like you'll listen to them and you will listen to the parts that scare them, they will trust you when you say, I know you're scared and I know you're trying to protect me, but I really would like to try again. I would really love to open my heart up again to someone. And I know it's scary, but there's hope. And I need you to be there to protect me, but not to completely shield me from ever trying again. It's time for Words That Found Me. Epictetus says, seek not that the things which happen should happen as you wish, but wish the things which happen to be as they are, and you will have a tranquil flow of life. This brings a sense of peace as you're trying to let go, instead of feeling like you so badly want to reverse that thing that ended that has forced you to want to let go. Like you don't want to make sense of it. You don't want to accept it. You say, I just don't want to have to let go. I just want to be stuck in this pain for as long as I can be because it feels good to keep feeling it, or it feels safe because as long as I'm dwelling on that person or on that thing, then part of my identity feels like it's there and I'm not losing it. When you hear words like that, they remind you that it is the nature of life that things will come and go. And instead of us saying, I wish that thing didn't happen the way that it did happen, and I wish that that person didn't walk away in that way, and I wish I didn't lose that job in that way, and I wish I could change the ending of that story, always tell yourself, try to redirect and say that I hope that what's best for me happens, even if it means that that person walks away, and even if it means that that thing doesn't work out. I trust in my ability to let go when I decide to. And the moment I decide to let go isn't the moment that I actually let go, but it's the moment that I start taking steps that will get me to a place where I've completely cut that really thick rope that's holding me to something or to someone. You have the power to do that. And when we make peace with life's nature of bringing things to us and taking things away from us, and I'm sure you've heard this before, you really don't own anything in this life. You don't own people. You don't own the house that you actually own. You don't own the clothes that you actually clothe yourself with. You don't own your friends, and you don't own the things that feel like they're so stable and steady on a spiritual level. You really don't. The most important thing is that none of those things actually own you in a way that says, if I don't have that, I won't be okay. You say to yourself, if for some reason I don't have that thing or that person anymore, I will be able to survive. I will be able to let go. It will be hard, and I will take time to grieve, and I will take time to teach myself how to live without the thing and the person that I thought I could never live without. But I will get to the other side. I trust myself. I think this is a great point to end this episode, and I know there's a lot more that I can talk about when it comes to letting go. So maybe we'll plan another episode where we talk about more practical examples, where we talk about how to actually put together a plan for yourself to let go. But for now, I hope that this episode inspired you in some way to start taking the steps to give yourself the resources that you need to finally release yourself and let go. I got a review this week that was from someone who stumbled upon the podcast, and it was such a thoughtful, long review, and it just reminded me of the power that we all collectively have when we engage in these conversations and we share them with the people we love and with the people who we think it will help, because that naturally bumps the podcast into the world to other people who aren't part of this community and tells them, hey, this helped this many people. I think it will help you. So I really appreciate every moment that you take to leave a ranking, a review, a comment, to share it with anybody on your Instagram story, to share it with a friend. All of that helps, and I'm so forever grateful to you. I hope this episode helped you find healing beyond words, and until next time, have a wonderful day.